This is FCTV, fan-controlled television. Programs created and produced for the fans, by the fans of fan-controlled sports and entertainment. As always, power to the fans. And now, it's time for the show.
Oh, yeah.
You better believe it is. You better bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow. What happened to the brick house behind you?
It was freaking me out. My head kept disappearing. I thought that can't be. Look, we got a lot of eyes on the app right now. It can't be good for the optics for my head to be disappearing and clipping. I'm not going to do any of that green screen stuff until I get a green screen. And when I say I'm referring to myself, which is Alex Enriquez, your co-host. Hi.
Hi, I'm Kenny Stevenson. Yes, this you would think this is a green screen behind me, but it's not. Actually, at some point, what we think I can do is we can move this setup that I have here. This is in my bedroom. We can move it into my office in the living room. And I was doing a Zoom there once, like recently, and somebody said, like, God, I love your background. Where'd you get that? I'm like, that is my actual bookshelf. So,
yeah.
Boom.
You know what? We can't. There's only room for so much magic in the bedroom, man. And I think you got to focus.
Well done. Welcome to Zoom background chat. I am Kenny. This is fan controlled fandom, baby, and we're back live.
Ooh,
we are live.
We're here.
Last week we did a taped show. It was still fantastic. I don't even need to know how you all commented on it. I'm assuming it was just nothing but positive vibes, chill, positive vibes. Every day, all day.
The numbers, as I understand it, were through the friggin' roof.
Yeah. You know what? Not only were they through the roof, they absolutely crashed the roof, and the roof was on fire, and we don't need no water to just let that mother effer burn. Let it burn.
Right.
Burn, mother effer, burn.
Yeah. And I'd say, in theory, as long as the fire stays contained to just the roof, might be a handy way of, maybe doing some focused demolition.
Yeah, let's look into that in our next episode of Demo Dudes. Demo Dudes.
That's our show. We're gonna do that alternating Fridays. It'll be Demo Dudes, a lot of hard hats and goggles, and us with hammers scratching our heads, going, "Yeah, I don't know."
Yeah. Oh, people come in with look, I've got a major leak in my bathroom, and we're just like, I don't know.
Yeah, you should call somebody.
Yeah, you should call us. Not the Demo Dudes, though.
Not the demo dudes. No.
We just featured demolition. That's it. We don't know how to do it. What we do know how to do is talk about the Cape Space. Segways, baby. Let's get us back on track. The Cape Space. This is fandom. This is all fan-controlled fandom. This is all your content in which people wear capes. People wear capes when they're flying through the air. They wear capes when they're on top of a dragon. And they have their blonde wig and they're flying on top of dragon. We're going to get to House of the Dragon, I think, next week. I think we should.
Okay.
But for this week, we are still just lightsaber deep into the Acolyte, which is very much the Cape Space. And you know what? We got in the poncho space this week, because we had 2 front row tickets to the gun show in this week's episode of the Acolyte. That's for sure.
Ooh, yeah. I think we'll get into it, but yeah, I've heard that poncho is just Mexican for 360 cape.
You're allowed to say that. That's
why I did it.
I know. That's why this name of our show is Space Wizard Ninjas Swing Their Flashlight Wands Good, and that'll make more sense as we talk about episode 5 of the Acolyte. However, first we got to hit the quick pieces of nerd news. It's called Quick Hits. Here comes the most powerful piece of music to ever hit your ears.
Quick hits.
But I have to tell you that because of the shift in timing, pre-recording the show on Thursday last week instead of doing it live on Friday, my energy was all messed up for karate class on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And you were up for a belt too, right?
Yeah. They were going to hit me with it, but they decided not to. So, guess next weekend.
Oh, man. My dad used to bang on the door if I was talking too late at night, would bang on the door and would just go, "Do you want the belt?" And then he would snap it. Give the noise. He'd go crack. He'd crack the belt. Did he ever hit me with it? I don't know. I probably blocked it out of my brain, but that's for another podcast. For this podcast, let's talk about
the slap happies. We're doing that. That'll be once a month.
The slap daddies talking about.
Don't Google that. Don't Google that. We're not allowed to say it on the stream. That.
Don't do it. I was. What did I tell someone to Google this week? Oh, crud. I'll look it up. The big news. There's a lot of news. There's always news. Some news came out this week. There's been a lot of conjecture. You know, we haven't had anything in the MCU since January with Echo, which was very much its own thing, even though it was in the MCU. And we've been like, you know, the only thing we've had really to satiate us is Deadpool and Wolverine trailers. And, you know, that movie is, you know, we're like less than a month out. Hugh Jackman is posting behind the scenes pics every day. I mean, the hype is real. However, there are other projects. We talked about Blade last week. This week, Kevin Feige confirmed that the Fantastic Four, you know, they was announced on Valentine's Day, and everyone was saying like, oh, this looks like it's based on the logo and based on the any other images we've seen. This might take place at a different time. Kevin Feige confirmed this week on the official Marvel podcast that the Fantastic Four is indeed a period film. He said it's a period film, and there was another piece of art we released with Johnny Storm. I don't know who Johnny Storm is. I know who Johnny Flying Fire Guy is.
Yeah.
Flying in the air, making a 4 symbol. There was a cityscape in that image. That was the second image I'm telling you about. There were a lot of smart people who noticed that the cityscape didn't look exactly like the New York that we know, or the New York that existed in the 60s in our world. Those are smart observations. All say, and here's the art he's referring to. I see it there. So he's saying that basically it's confirmed this week that it takes place probably in the 60s in an alternate Earth, which is kind of things that we've said even on this show that we're currently talking on.
You heard it here first, everybody.
Yeah, we're breaking news. We're breaking necks and cashing checks and breaking news. 5-Star Fridge wants to know, when does the season start again? 2025 is what I'm hearing, but there's a fan-controlled race coming up. Fan-controlled racing is another NASCAR race, and fan-controlled cricket, which, get on the bus, baby. USA beat India, which again, we referenced last week's show. The USA beating India is like USA beating Brazil in soccer, or I don't know, a small like Canada beating USA basketball. Like, that's what we're talking about. Anyway,
that's wild. Wait, they've beaten Pakistan and India now?
Sorry, Pakistan. I meant to say Pakistan. Whatever. The game that they won, that was like a big, that like they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Either India or Pakistan. Those are two juggernauts in the world of cricket. And for USA to beat either of them.
Yeah, enormous support at home for those sports too. On the subcontinent, it's enormously huge there. So
yeah,
it's
big. It's a big deal that fan-controlled sports and entertainment is getting involved with cricket. I think that a lot of people might be like, ooh, cricket. But you know what? Here's the thing, people. There are other parts of the world, and in those other parts of the world, they might like and watch other sports than you do. But that doesn't mean, because you don't watch it, that doesn't mean that billions of people watch cricket. It's a huge sport.
Billion with a B, he said.
Yeah. Yeah, with a B, not with the D, like some people like to spell. Anyway, Kevin Feige. So this was kind of like, okay, cool. I understand that he's just kind of giving us something so that we have something, but we all kind of knew that this was the thing, because this movie actually is supposed to start.
Eben Burt Bacharach is the thing.
Well, do you know that somebody he complained this last week that people, do we talk about this on the show last week about how
no, but I know what you're gonna say, and
people keep calling him cousin on the street, and he's like sick of it already, which I'm just like, sorry, bro. I mean, it's tough, but it's just probably gonna happen for the rest of your. It's like Brian Cox, the guy from Succession, the dad. People constantly on Cameo pay for him to say F off, like to get that, and he's just like, whatever. I think when he hits like older in life, he doesn't care. Then he'll be like, yeah, whatever. Call me cousin. As long as the check clears, I don't care.
I thought you were going to bring up, he was asked how he was preparing for the role of the Thing, and he
Even
said,
better.
I don't know, looking
too.
at pictures of rocks.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, that was a good one too. No, I was referring to the fact that he said he was sick of being called cousin. He said people yell across the street cousin at him all the time. I'm like, yeah, of course they do.
But also,
like,
like,
stupid.
Yeah, come on. If that happens, and we catch you, we should be able to rescind your right to vote in the next whatever election is. Like if you're
talking
so
about the person who's yelling cousin,
yeah, the
not
person who
Evan
yells
Moss.
cousin,
Yeah.
you don't get to vote for president next time. And
Which-
put your pictures up at the post office, and everybody says, and so at the same time, people are seeing you're the I yell cousin person. They're also seeing, oh, I shouldn't be a I yell cousin person.
Yeah, that way that would be great.
Scientific society, baby.
Yeah, so this to me is just Feige. I think he's kind of like giving us something to wet our whistle. Are they going to be at Comic-Con next month? Does Marvel? I think they're not going, right?
I think it's been announced that they are, and it's going to be big.
Well, it's got. Oh yeah, you're right, because they're making this is probably going to be the Avengers of 5 kind of tease. So I think probably, yeah, he's just getting us hyped. So that's one less thing he has to talk about, because they're probably going to roll out the cast for Fantastic Four. They're probably going to reveal who Paul Walter Hauser is. We're probably going to get all these like casting details. And then, yeah, Sean Levy's going to come out with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, and they're going to announce that the 3 of them are making Avengers 5. I don't know. Who cares? Let's go.
I think Paul Walter Hauser is the next, oh gosh, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
That's a great call.
Like,
yeah.
I just simply in terms of the fact of his ability to just kind of access anything. I mean, you look at him on I Think You Should Leave. You look at him on Always Sunny in Philadelphia. These a broad range of comedic roles, and then he nails these big, heavy, dramatic things. Like in I, Tonya, he was incredible in I, Tonya.
That's a great comp, Philip Seymour Hoffman, because yeah, he's Cobra Kai. He was in a character in Cobra Kai like in season 2. I think I've talked about it on the show before. Season 2, and then like went off and got nominated for an Oscar, and they brought him back for like a walk-on role in like season 4, and he's still there. Like, has no business. He could just be like, look, guys, come on, I just got nominated for an Oscar. I'm going to come back and do a day on Cobra Kai. But he does. And if you don't think Philip Seymour Hoffman's a good comp, I'm telling you, watch now. Rewatch the movie Along Came Polly with Ben Stiller and Jen Aniston. Not a necessarily great movie. Philip Seymour Hoffman crushes in that movie. Absolutely hysterical.
100%. Channels a little bit of Jack Black before that was big.
And incredible stuff.
Really just, put that in one hand and then put Boogie Nights in the other, and then maybe if you grow a third hand, whatever I've seen of the movie Doubt, which frankly seems a little too heavy for me, and as Freddie Airmail says, we're going to name this show heavy dramatic things. Yep. I'm famous for saying, really, my tolerance for media, like the emotional spectrum represented by any media I take in, has to be about Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's it. Like nothing more tense, scary, anything than that.
Okay. I mean, I know you could probably argue that this episode of the Acolyte list this week is more tense than that. Anyway,
I had to watch it standing up through my fingers. So
it's something we've announced on this show that I love. I'm always happy to talk, which we will be talking about later in the year in the fall when Rings of Power comes out. But there's a new Lord of the Rings movie happening called The Hunt for Gollum that Andy Serkis has already confirmed to direct and will be playing Gollum, which just, I mean, what an all-time look. To be directing while in a mocap suit, that's like next level stuff. But he said this week he teases this in the way that's like, yeah, of course, dude. He says that he teases that there may be some characters that we recognize that might be coming back. I'm not going to say who. I'm like, yeah, bro, of course, dude.
Man, I hope it's Batman.
I doubt it. I think it's probably going to be something more to the effect of Ian McKellen and Viggo Mortensen and probably Elijah Wood. And I don't know, Sean Astin they might have to do some work. Have you seen him lately?
They'll get him there. Everybody's, Hollywood is a land of magic and dreams.
Well, the thing, so like, hobbits age a little differently. So shouldn't they, in theory, like, because Bilbo's quite old but no, I guess, but the time between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings, is not huge. I'm not a huge Tolkien thing, but I think it's
over
only
100
like 40,
years.
It is over 100. Okay, yeah. So
I think so.
hobbitches and hobbits and wizards age differently.
Yeah.
So Ian McKellen had already said that he would do it, but he didn't. He was like, I don't, only like if I can. Like, I don't know if I look you want me to play like, I don't know if it'll work, basically. Viggo Mortensen, I'm sure we could get him in the gym and he could figure it out. But yeah, I figure like you're not going to announce that you're making another Lord of the Rings movie and then not have these people show up. Like, come on, man. Like, who the hell is hunting for Gollum? I would have to think that Aragorn, the king of all Middle Earth, is going to be like, find me that Gollum.
Yeah, I gotta get. Hey, bring me that pervert, dude. You know, I think. By the way, Andy's. I think Andy Serkis, another person with a quite enviable career and range that he's displayed. I mean, think of how we first meet him, and then you see him in Andor being incredible, and then what is that? 13 going on 30 or whatever. Where
I was just gonna say,
boss.
That was it was like almost like it was literally like I think it's like 2003. That movie, like incredible stuff. Like the same year that Return of the King comes out, that wins an Academy Award. He is in 13 going on 30 as like the boss, you know, the boss character, and then like dances to Walk the Dinosaur. What is the song that they dance to in them? I think
they do the Thriller dance.
The Thriller, that's right. Thank you very much. Yeah, Andy Serkis gets up there and does the Thriller dance with Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo. Holy cow, man. I mean, go back and watch this movie. It's actually like a pretty great movie. And
by the way, if you're keeping score, have seen 13 going on 30, haven't seen Doubt. Just keep that in mind.
Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. Alex is a John Patrick Shanley hater.
I hate all three of them.
Somebody that we don't hate is, well, depends on, we hate probably their takes about the COVID vaccine, but Letitia Wright was on The View this week promoting her next movie, Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot. And she was asked by one of the hosts if, you know, because Shuri is the Black Panther now. That was the big reveal in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, was that Shuri had taken over the Black Panther moniker. And she was like, I'd like to continue with Shuri. But then she said, she's one of my characters. She's such a blessing. And then by accident, she kind of let some words out saying that, blah, 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 blah. Where is it? She basically says, there's a lot, like, are you going to be playing Shuri again? And she says, oh, well, there's a lot coming up. So I think Jessica Clemens on the new Rockstar feed this week was talking about potential Avengers 5, like who would be like the core group in that movie. Like there's gonna be 60 characters in it, but like much like Infinity War had like there was pieces being played around, but then in Endgame we got like a core group. But yeah, talked about a core group and it being like Doctor Strange, Shuri, can't remember any of the people. So she was like, I'd love to see Sylvie, something else, some other thing. Oh, Shang-Chi, stuff like that. So like characters who had like kind of established in their movies as like them being kind of like in a leadership position. And she had mentioned Shuri. So I think like, I don't know. What do you think about Shuri being in like an Avengers lineup?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the throwing everything at the wall approach is obviously going to happen with the next Avengers movie. They have to literally leave everything on the table. They're going to, what's this little emoji from Jew Tactics?
I don't know. I think it's like a wink. Doesn't it look like a wink?
Oh, Anyway, clarify for us, would you?
That's in the chat, by the way.
In the Twitch chat. Yeah.
In the Twitch chat.
I wasn't just, it wasn't
saying
like that one
things
time.
like that. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Anyway.
So yeah, I'm cool for her to be in there. I actually randomly I was thinking about Namor the other day, and I was like, man, I would love to see some more of that.
It's interesting, in a lot of the discourse over Marvel, like all the stuff that came out in the Hollywood Reporter, like for some reason, like there was not a lot of talk about Wakanda Forever, a movie that clearly is not as good as the first Black Panther movie, but it's like it's like 80%. It's not like it made a ton of money. It like was a success. It was only like 4 months apart from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but somehow is just kind of left out of the discourse. I could probably, think of a couple reasons why that is.
Yeah.
Don't need to just think of all the things that the people are upset about with the Acolyte. That might be some of the reasons why. But I just wanted to ask you, because I think you know more about Marvel, about comics canon in general. Has Black Panther ever been like a steady member of the Avengers? Any Black Panther?
I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly certain that T'Challa was an Avenger at one point. I think he might have been in Bendis's New Avengers. But yeah, the character's been around long enough, and that moniker of Avenger has been so elastic that I'm sure there's not insubstantial amounts of canon where he's featured as a member of the core Avengers.
Freddie Airmail, sorry. Freddie Airmail. He's asking you because you know about these things. How do I know if he really loves me? Way to go.
Oh my God. By the way, do yourself a favor for Friday night and listen on YouTube to the isolated vocal track of Whitney Houston from that song.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it's incredible. Without any of the production, without any other sound, you see how effortless she just kind of goes through that whole thing.
We forget, and it's because of of her troubled kind of end of towards the last 10, 15 years of her life. She was called the Voice. Like that, her voice is unparalleled. She's one of the best singers of all time. And we get bogged down by, her demons, I think really kind of, tattered, in her kind of end of life stuff, or last 10, 15 years. But we forget that she just was an unbelievable once in a lifetime talent.
Yeah, a generational talent. And doesn't that the life in the spotlight and that kind of, sickness tend to propagate itself? It doesn't make things better.
No, it doesn't. Welcome back to Whitney words.
Heavy dramatic things. It's heavy dramatic things. The movie.
Speaking of heavy dramatic things, Sony, my former employer, which I'm allowed to just go buck wild with now, they announced that this week they slated a March 20th, 2026. We are going to get a new live action Street Fighter movie, baby, which I'm not sure how I feel about this because the original Street Fighter movie is perfect. So why even mess with it? Have you seen the Street Fighter movie made in the late 90s with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Kylie Minogue
and Raul Julia?
Raul Julia, who is I'm just gonna say it. Heavy Dramatic Things is dying while making this movie. Not well.
I've never seen it.
Oh man, it is. I know you're not a big fan of So Bad It's Good, but it is so bad it's good, man. It's really, really wonderfully terrible. But Ming-Na Wen is in it. I don't know. There's something. I don't know what the take is going to be on this, but Street Fighter is a fun video game, and if you can find a take on it, why not? Sure.
Yeah, I'll watch it. Who cares?
Exactly. Who cares? I don't know. They figured out a way to make. Does Guile's theme still go with everything? I certainly hope so. Gosh, I make love to Guile's theme. Anyway, no, they found a way to make a Mortal Kombat movie work. So, I think the thing that's hilarious about the Street Fighter movie is that it's the only thing that it ties into the game is that all the characters are in it. There's no it should have been there's no allusion to the gameplay. It should have been an underground fighting ring and people fight, but no, it just oh my gosh. And then everything. What's the Beast guy's name?
Blanca
is in it, and the makeup is terrible, and Jean-Claude Van Damme's supposed to be American in it, and it's just no.
American Air Force officer Guile, Lieutenant Guile.
Yeah, and he's got his Belgian accent, and he talks like this, and you mess with America, you get me, yeah. Like it's just
Sonic boom, Sonic boom.
Sonic Boom. No, they don't even do that stuff. It's amazing. Oh my god. So we'll
But
see.
I
would love.
kind of want to talk about like this idea too, that I think if you look at that, you look at the Mario Brothers movie from the same time frame.
Oh god,
The
yes.
thought used to be that you can't just stick to how these things exist on the big screen. You have to do a major departure. And I think about that in terms of the original X-Men movie costumes, and then what we're seeing from Deadpool and Wolverine and the set photos of Superman this week. That over the 25-year span, we have gone to stick to the source material. We have photography of completely comic accurate superhero costumes. And I'm like, here for it all day.
What is it? Mr. Incredible?
Mr. Terrific, baby.
Mr.
Michael
Terrific.
Holt.
Sorry.
It's Michael, smartest man on earth.
Even though I know Echo Kellum personally, I don't know the character from the comics lore well. But yeah, that was something I forgot to put in the quick hits. Thank you. Where there was a bunch of set photos that leaked out this week from the Superman, why am I having an absolute brain? The James Gunn Superman movie. And yeah, bunch of comic accurate suits, which is just like, I think like, yeah, if you look at the animated Super Mario Brothers movie, it's just like, why are we shying away from everything that this is? Just make it what it is. So if you want to hire us to make the Street Fighter movie, Michael Rothman or Tom Rothman, hire us, we'll do it. And well, you know where you're going to get it? You're going to see Guile fighting Blanca at like a dock, and like in the docks, and people are going to be like screaming behind him.
We're gonna have a dude beat up a car.
It's happening. We're going to see a very tiny Asian woman fight a sumo wrestler, and it's just going to happen. And that's just going to happen.
And they're going to all take on a Portuguese dictator or something? I don't know.
Raul Julia. They're going to CGI him. Freddie Emerald says, we're just at a point where there's a lot more lore to stick to, and fans expect that. That's a good point. We'll get to fan expectations.
I mean, I think too, you're like those lore things are now seen as features and not bugs, that you can run to them. People are into it. That interconnectivity is something people kind of enjoy now. Whereas no, you can't. You can only do one Batman movie every 10 years, and you have to put the biggest movie stars on earth in it, or one big movie star and not one. And yeah, but now it's like, go nuts.
Go nuts. This is another Batman movie, but this one's not in the top lore, and it's got Robert Pattinson, and it takes place in another world, and blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Great. You know who does? You know what we do care about here on the Fan-Controlled Sports and Entertainment, Twitch, whatever streaming feed you're on right now, Twitch, X, Twex, sports. We care about entertainment. We've been giving you entertainment. We got to give you one piece of sports news. We talked a little bit about fan-controlled racing, fan-controlled cricket. Alex, take us out to the racetrack. Let's go.
Well, in advance of the Styrian Grand Prix this weekend, we still do not know where Spanish racing driver Carlos Sainz will be racing next year. Lance Stroll has signed for 2025 and beyond with Aston Martin, his home team. We know that Kevin Magnussen in Haas is signaling that he might be leaving next season. But does Carlos Sainz want to go into a Haas machine? Logan Sargent's fate is unknown, but what is known is that none of the top seats matching Carlos Sainz's considerable talent seem to be available for 2025. Does he race in the next year in an inferior machine or hold off for a better seat? Only time will tell. Back to you, Kenny.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about Bleep Blorp and Blip Blop driving Flop Florp.
It's all NFTs, baby.
In my piece of sports news that will sound like Blip Blop and Gleep Glorp to you, BC Lions 2 wins in a row. We won yesterday. Didn't get to see the game, but I want to talk about specifically the Lakers. We had a big week this week. We announced a new coach, former NBA analyst and podcaster, JJ, and NBA player, JJ Redick is our new head coach. Never coached at any level, but he's the new head coach of the team, which people think is crazy, but I would throw out names like Doc Rivers. I will throw out names like Steve Kerr, two championship-winning coaches who went right from the broadcaster booth into coaching and never coached before. So there is precedence for it. Then we went out into the NBA draft and we drafted some kid whose name is literally Dalton Knecht. It's spelled K-N-E-C-H-T, but it's pronounced Connect. And he was a projected lottery pick, projected to be picked in the top 10, fell down to 17 because he's 23 years old. And apparently NBA people, that's too old. And we got him as a steal, and then rounded out the second round by picking LeBron James's kid, Bronny James, at pick 55 because we had to. And what a week! What a week for the Lakers.
2 questions: is this kid Connect? Is he from Connecticut? And second of all,
wouldn't that be amazing though?
Did you hear about the draft prospect who fell in the draft status because it was revealed he had an adult girlfriend when he was a teenager?
No.
I can't remember the kid's name, but he was a top prospect. And then every aspect, then they found out he doesn't talk to his family. And he was at every single event attended by this woman who's 8 years older than him. And he's like 20 or something now. So it's like fine. But they started dating when he was 16. And she was a college graduate when she went to his prom. Great.
I gotta look that up. That is not Dalton Knecht. Dalton Knecht is a white guy from went to junior college in Colorado for 2 years, then played 2 years at the University of Northern Colorado. Then, because of COVID, every kid got an extra year of eligibility, took that year and went to University of Tennessee, and in 1 year became the conference player of the year. So exciting times here. Speaking of exciting times, every week we do this show, you, Alex, are just always out showing the great work that you do in the corporate sponsorship space, always finding us amazing people to sponsor the show. Uncle Rick Caruso is an ardent supporter of this show. But are we still promoting your show? Is that what's happening?
We are still self-promoting.
Baby. Tomorrow, it's tonight, right?
Tonight at 10:30.
Yeah, let's go, baby.
In the Black Box at the Broadwater Theater on Santa Monica Boulevard and Lillian Way. Fringe Tonight Alive. It is a late night talk show that I am hosting. We got interviews, games, musical performances, and more. And as an enticement, the sponsor space message this week are actually behind the scenes facts about the show. And so that the first fact I'll reveal behind the scenes about Fringe Tonight Alive is that it takes over 12 hours to assemble and program the host before each show. And so if you want to see the result of that work, visit tinyurl.com/4 J as in Joker, WUW, the number 2, the letter Y, and the letter T as in Tom.
Can you put it in the chat?
I'll put it in the chat.
That sounds so silly when you.
I know.
Because there's been so many.
It was supposed to be easier.
There's so many times in this show when you have put fake URLs out. So listening to you say fake stuff. Oh no, you put it in the private chat. Only I'm seeing that, my guy. Put it in the.
I don't know how to do that. Hold on.
I don't know. Go on to Twitch and put it in the Twitch.
Oh, for God's sake! Everybody's gonna see how stupid I am.
Oh, now. Freddie Airmail's got it. It's Filipowski is the guy. I think he's from Duke, actually. Yes, that is true. Yes, that's the guy. The guy who it was statutory raped by a woman.
Yeah. We only know that he was at the very least groomed. We don't know that there was any activity.
Well, let's just move quickly past that and just say now it's time to talk about the Acolyte, baby. Space wizard ninjas swing their flashlight wands good. Here we go. Acolyte season 1 of only one season that's announced, episode 5. It is directed by Alex Garcia Lopez, written by Cora Donna and Cameron Squires. Osho witnesses the mysterious warrior kill all the Jedi except Yord, Jeki, and Sol. Soul saves Osha from the warrior and demands he reveal his identity. The warrior claims that they have already met before vanishing. Jackie captures May, but the mysterious warrior arrives to kill May for trying to betray him. Jackie breaks the warrior's mask before she is killed, revealing him to be Khmer. Soul arrives and questions. Should have said spoiler alert. Soul arrives and questions Khmer. It's Khmer, right?
Keimer,
thank you. Who says it's Q? It's a Q name without a U after it, so it's hard. But it's quickly killed. Yord ambushes Keimer, but is quickly killed. So a lot of people died in this episode, by the way. Soul fights Keimer again and overpowers him, but is stopped from killing him by Osha. She plants a light on Keimer that causes the forest bugs to attack him and carry him away. May uses Osha's stun gun on Soul so she can speak with Osha, but they end up arguing about each other's choices, and May uses the Force to knock Osha unconscious. May steals Osha's clothes and poses as her sister when returning to Soul, who takes her to their ship. They are followed by a suspicious Basil. Keimer frees himself from the bugs and comes across the unconscious Osha. Things that are not said in this breakdown. Oh, yeah, Jackie is killed. And did I not read this sentence here? Soul arrives and questions Keimer, who says the Jedi might call him Sith. Yes, I did. I missed that sentence. He intends to leave no witnesses to keep his existence secret. So that ties into a character who I'm now calling Kid Cudi. His sentence saying that Jedi, the Sith have been around, gone for thousands of years. Anyway, Alex, thoughts about the episode?
I just think this was a really incredible doubleheader they went through this week. And you know, from a different perspective, I mean, I was very satisfied with it creatively. I thought it was a great addition to the series, all of those things. I think it was, from a different perspective, it was interesting to watch as like television production. To me, it felt very light on volume work. It felt very practical sets and really contained, and probably not that expensive to shoot. No space battles.
Like 6 people working for most of it,
and most of it is lightsaber combat and incredible stuff we've never seen before. There's letting people go just bug nutty. I really, yeah. I just had such a great time with this episode. I really enjoy where this is going.
Yeah, I thought this episode was, I mean, wonderful. I truly like some of the best live action, for sure, lightsaber fights we've ever seen, like, period. Like, there's just some like next level stuff happening in this show which is like what you would want in a time that's supposed to be when the Jedi are at their quote unquote height of their powers. You'd want to see like some kick-ass, pardon my French, stuff. But yeah, there was such a contained feel about it. Like, even though we were on this huge planet in this dense forest, everything, like, even when characters were separated from each other in different parts, nobody felt really far away from each other. So that made all these, like, it's just like, what a great piece of television. The fact that we got just unbelievable stunts, but then also got this great character stuff and got these great kind of like, you know, parallels to the Jedi and the things that the Jedi do wrong, the things that, like, you know, over the years with the Jedi go from being these like amazing things teased about in the original trilogy to now, between the Clone Wars, between the sequel trilogy, between every other piece of content, has just been like finding chinks in the Jedi armor. And
right.
Like, what another piece that we got here today. And I mean, it's in the notes. Maybe we don't want to jump ahead too far, but maybe we will. Is that like, is Soul going to make it out of this series? I don't know if he is. I think he kind of has to die at this point.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, there's so much on the table in terms of where it could go. The idea that this guy doesn't flat out call himself Darth something and say he's a Sith, you know, might mean that he isn't Sith. You know, if he's not observing the rule of two.
It was very specific that he said that you might call me Sith, but he didn't say that I called myself a Sith. He didn't.
He seems like he has disdain for any system. But he does quote the Sith code. I don't know. It's just there's mystery on mystery on mystery, especially when you consider. I mean, they've been. I think there's ways you can. We were talking on text message about these seeming contradictions that will happen as you move through retroactive continuity in Star Wars, right? And Kenny just pointed out Kid Cudi Adimundi saying that it's impossible that the Sith have been extinct for 1,000 years, but he's around at a time when they're discovering the Sith, and how do those, we obviously don't know. Maybe they can make those things connect. I think that there are ways you can fudge some of the other retroactive continuity fudges, like Leia remembering her mom.
Yeah, that's like, it's so wild to me that the people go so gaga over this one line that he said, which, by the way, this occurred to me too. A line that was said at a time when Sheevan Palpatine was masking and shrouding the Jedi's judgment about everything. So you know what I mean? Like, he was already, like, they already didn't know that he was a Sith right underneath their noses. So maybe part of that is just that, yeah, there hasn't been a Sith around for 1,000 years. Who knows? Like, it's just like, that stuff to me is like so stupid when there is like, Leia literally says, "I remember my mother," and that was a piece of content that had existed for 16 full years before they decided to make the prequel trilogy. So it's like, but that kind of stuff is like sacred. All that stuff is sacred. But if you touch any of these movies that like I watched when I was 12, then and that's not my Star Wars. Like, come on, man.
I was talking to
just get over yourself.
I was talking to somebody recently about the idea that the Force in 1977 didn't include telekinesis, and then in 1980 it did. That was the thing, and like it just keeps growing in what it can do and whatever. Like it's popcorn for children. Just eat it or don't eat it.
Yeah, I was watching this show, and to me, I think I texted you this as well, and I was like. And I don't. We can talk for maybe like 2 or 3 more minutes about the trolls and get back to what's great about this show. But, I was like, if you didn't like this episode, it's just because you're racist and misogynist. Because as far as Star Wars go, this was as Star Warsy as you could possibly Star Wars. The only thing that was missing was like the kind of like Han Solo-esque character saying, "I got a bad feeling about this." Like literally, like there was like unbelievable Jedi stuff happening. There was Sith. There was conflict. There was light side, dark side, as represented by 2 characters who are literally twins. Like there's just like, it was like so much like Jedi dealing with the Jedi and what the Jedi code. And it was like, this was so rich in what is Star Wars and what we all know. Like whether this is like technical lore and they might have to like rewrite who Manny Jacinto's character is. Like that to me is like so minor to like how freaking cool this was. You know what I mean? Like it's stupid.
Oh, absolutely. It's so cool and so fun. People are and it isn't just people playing with the toys. There's a point, there's story, there's new things that we're seeing. I mean, the whole idea that Darth Kymer or whatever has this armor on him that is actually for something. It not only blocks a lightsaber but cancels it out for a minute, and that comes from like deep Legends continuity.
Let's talk about that. Yes.
Yeah. No,
is that a thing?
Yeah.
I did not know that. See, I'm not up on the Legends continuity, but yeah, I was watching that being like, oh wow, that's really cool. That's just something I'd never seen, and it's so cool.
Yeah, I think it was introduced in. I can't remember. I saw that on New Rockstars, but I remember. I mean. It was nice to know that they were able to access that, but I think it's from the 90s. It was for I, Jedi by Michael Stackpole.
The creator of this series, Leslie Headland, is a huge Legends person. Like I saw or read an interview with her where she had said like, I wanted to work in this space kind of like outside of the main continuity because I wanted to. This is a great, like I was obsessed with all the Legend stuff. So she's put a bunch of stuff, a lot of the like Sith code and stuff like that is in this. And so, she's put a lot of characters that are from Legends, and that idea of if you strike your lightsaber to this person's helmet, that it kind of shorts for a minute or two. That was some cool ass stuff, man.
Yeah.
And it just kind of added to the fact that like this episode 2 is the shortest episode of the season, by the way, which is totally insane because we
Wow.
got so much, not just like unbelievable stunt work. Like I think comparable to like that episode of Ahsoka. I think it was like the 4th episode where we had those 2 great lightsaber battles in that forest or whatever. Like that was a great episode. But also had like a ton of like, building off the character work that had been done in what some people deemed as slower episodes in the first 2. You do that work early on so that when you're at episode 5 and now you see that May was conflicted, but now seems to be like she is now like, I need to prove myself to my master, has now swapped, like cut her hair, swapped faces. Again, a testament to the acting by this actress. It seamlessly moves between 2 characters and then is actually playing May pretending to be Osha, and you believe that still. Like that's how great of an actor she is. But that like dichotomy set up, and then that whatever Darth Keimer has Osha. It's just like, wow, look at that. We did that and we didn't have to even like say much. We just did it. Like this is great storytelling, man.
And I think too, it was pretty brutal. I mean, I think what happens in this episode, that all of that setup and pipe laying helps to create characters that we, like, it mattered when these characters died in this episode.
I'm sorry. It's another.
I know. I'm not allowed to say it. I'm not allowed to say it.
Pipe. Yeah, I was gonna say that's something you would tag me for, friend. But yeah, you can't say laying pipe.
There we go.
Twitch.
I'm feeling a little silly today. But yeah, like those. Pardon me.
Oh, sorry to bore you.
Oh, I'm just so friggin' bored. This show sucks. No, then like those major deaths this episode and how brutal they were like those were impactful. They came out of left field. I did not know that was gonna happen. I did not mark those characters for
Yord was a character. Yeah, Yord was a character they were like establishing. Yord and Jecki were 2 characters that they were establishing as being like large portions of this show. They even went so far as to establish like, which Leslie Headland confirmed, that Jecki has feelings for Osha. They even like, that was like very palpable even in this episode. And they just
again
like,
giving you even more emotional stakes to kind of pull out from under you when she's dispatched, and then to really prove, there's 2 or 3 lines right after that, Darth Q calls her it. And then also, oh gosh, he like, she was a child, and he goes, "You're the one that brought her here."
Yeah, let's just segue and talk about Manny Jacinto, who, if you have not watched The Good Place, like he is an actor who is already capable of kind of playing some dualities, because his character, spoiler alert, on The Good Place has a turn about, I don't know, 7 or 8 episodes in, where you learn what his real trait is.
Delightful.
And yeah, he's just a wonderful, wonderful performer. But this performance was, I mean, to see where he was when he started this show, and like I think we all kind of knew at the end of last episode that it was probably him, but still, to like the menace, the like disdain, but like controlled fire that he kind of exuded while just operating as that character, just like some all-time great villain stuff. Unbelievable.
Really good. And even those that small moment he gave you of the bumbling sidekick guy. When he sees her and throws her just a little like, hey, great, wonderful. Thank you for bringing that to Star Wars. I appreciate it.
Did you see the video? There was a video that like people were bandying about this week of him and the actor who plays Osha and May. They were on like a Good Morning, like doing the press junket, and they were in like a morning show in like Chicago or something. I don't know where they were. And he's full on just like on the show being like, yeah, man, it just was, I kind of kind of bummed. Like I just had to sit around set and watch everybody do what I call force foo and like swing their swords around. And I just got to, just kind of, I mean, it's fun being kind of like the comedic, foil, but it was just, and just like stone face, just like, he's not like Tom Holland where, you have no idea when the secret's going to come out. He's just like stone faced. Just
Awesome.
oh yeah, man, I really wish I would have been able to swing a lightsaber around. I'll send it to you. It's incredible stuff. Look it up. It's like Manny Jacinto lying on he's just on this morning show and he just crushes it. Like he's just like, you would know in a million years what I've been like, oh man, he's like
the ultimate performance.
Yucking it up. It's like when you watch these interviews with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, like as much as they're not telling us anything, but they're also telling us that like, yeah, you guys, there's going to be a lot of cameos in this movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're not like walking out there being like, no, it's just Hugh and I, and that's it. And it's
Isn't that
Deadpool
enough?
Wolverine, and it's a Deadpool Wolverine movie, and that's it. And like, but what about when they showed like those women's legs? Is that going to be Blake Lively? Is that going to be like your wife? And it's just like, oh, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the reaction. Whereas Manny Jacinto is just like game facing it. Did you see the Eric Voss video where he was like went back on his statement saying that he's thinking Taylor Swift is actually going to be in this movie?
No.
Like well, because the big rumor is that she's going to be Dazzler.
Yeah.
And they I think it was some like Entertainment Weekly said that she is not in the movie, and like Eric Voss for like 15 minutes like goes into detail as to why that he thinks that like that's a lie. And like,
was she doing a show in London while they were shooting, and that's why like with all the
well, no, but
Welcome to
she's already
crossover.
There was already a bunch of Chiefs games. Well, first of all, she's already friends with Blake Lively, and there's a bunch of Chiefs games where in the like box where they're watching Travis Kelce is Sean Levy, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively. Like, there's no reason why they're not like in the parking lot. They can't just like pop a green screen down, put her in hair and makeup for an hour and have her say like, "What's up, guys?" and then walk away. I mean, it's like,
she could be on a FaceTime.
John Krasinski. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. FaceTime her app. Whatever, man. Like, it's happening. I really, it's funny. It's like, I'll say this too, and then we get back to task. There will still be people who will be like, oh man, I thought so-and-so was going to be in this movie, and then they're not going to be, and they're going to be pissed about it. Like it's that is such a dumb thing that I have to say that, but I have to say that. But I'm going to tell you right now, don't temper your expectations. It seems like everybody's in this movie.
They were gonna go to the buffet and then come out going like, there wasn't enough like greenery around the bowls of food at the buffet line. I wanted more decorative greenery.
Yeah, I would love to have more ice under the bowl of ambrosia. Yeah, I saw, and it's hard too. Like, that's why what Manny Jacinto did was so kind of amazing. Is it like, I'm not even on X anymore. I was on, I don't know where I was, and I saw like a Deadpool spoiler of somebody on set that I was like, I did not want to see that, and I did. And now I'm like, oh God, I guess they're in the movie then. But like, it's hard to have, like, people are really trying to spoil that, but I don't know how they did it, how they kept this. But I mean, I think people kind of knew by the last episode, but I just thought this was just like, it's just exciting. I'm just like, I don't care if this retcons stuff. Like, who cares? Like, this character is incredibly compelling, super interesting, awesome. Like skill, power set is kind of incredible. Like, I want to see this guy cook like for a long time. Like, let's go.
Great helmet, great look, great lightsaber, cool times.
Yeah, and he's like in like, I shouldn't have called it a poncho. He's in like a karate gi or something. Like, I'm sure it's some sort of like culturally accurate. He's Filipino. I don't know what the Filipino martial art is, but I mean, it's just like, this is the kind of stuff that where if people want to get mad about this, like, I don't care. Like, watching a Korean man and a Filipino man fight in Star Wars with their flashing light swords and have it be like next level awesome, to me is just like, it was great as is, but the fact that this is like representation wise awesome, even better.
100% through the roof. That is on fire, and we're not attending to it.
And we are not attending to this. Let's see. All right, so we talked about Manning. We talked about trading places. Oh yeah, let's talk. We think Soul's going to make it out of this TV show. Right now, Soul is heading back to Coruscant with May pretending to be Osha, and Soul is the last of the Jedi that she is trying to kill. So obviously, we're going to learn in these last 3 episodes what actually happened on her planet. And maybe that's what the next episode is. Maybe we flash back and it's another flashback episode. And then 7 and 8 is whatever that trip back to. Maybe they meet up with some Purgles. Who knows? But what do you think? Do you think he's gonna be dead or what?
I think he might fall to the dark side.
Soul?
Yeah.
Because his emotions might. Oh my God, that would
too much attachment, too much darkness.
That would be incredibly compelling. And then with season 2 is Soul and Darth Kymer. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, baby.
I love that's something I've never considered, and I love every part of that. That's fantastic.
Darth Squid Game.
Darth Squiddy, which is a show I know you've not watched.
Nope, too intense.
He's a great performer, man. Like, oh God, I said this last week too. There is just something so wonderful about watching somebody who is already doing a lot acting wise and in between the words, like, whatever, like jazz is the space between the notes. Real acting is the space between the words. But like, the fact that he doesn't know the language very well that he's speaking, but then chooses to make that a calculated acting choice. Amazing. Just like great work that's just like happening in this show.
Yeah, it's really well done. I'm very impressed and happy with what they've been able to do with this show and the High Republic and everything.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the High Republic during Hoopla recommendations. Do we think so? If Darth Kymer is there, and we know that the Sith have the rule of 2, if he is actually a Sith, is May going to be his whatever count Darth whatever whatever it is?
His
is going to be that, or is Kymer somebody's second? Is like, will we see Sheevan Palpatine? Will we see Darth Plagueis or somebody else? I don't know.
There is the potential that Sheevan Palpatine is involved, because what we do have between our 2 female protagonists is a Force dyad. And so in, this sort of Sith attempt at eternal life, this may have been like the first time Palpatine made a swipe at it in some way.
Let's remind me, for those I know, but for the audience, can you remind them what a Force dyad is?
It's why Palpatine needed Rey and Ben Solo. The connection that they had between their bloodlines or whatever represented this like very intense connection between 2 individuals in the Force, and they then used that to kill him. But he was going to use that to like give himself eternal life.
Yeah, that's all we're trying to do is fix that JJ mistake. That's all Star Wars is fixing that choice, which we could have fixed in the opening crawl. We could have been like, JJ, maybe don't just yada yada this. Can we?
Are you saying that that's what's in the crawl? Like that? Hey, JJ, don't yada yada this.
It was Palpatine the whole time. Damn it, JJ. We said don't.
JJ. Somehow he returned. Okay, yes. Yeah, they fly now. Okay.
Yeah, they fly now. I love that line. Oscar Isaac. I don't care. This new Rey movie, I'm here for it. Let's go. I like 100%. Poe Dameron. I think he's a great. They did a good job with the characters, and I still think Last Jedi is just one of the greatest pieces of Star Wars content. I'll go to my grave. It'll be on my gravestone. I don't care. That Holdo scene, not Holdo. It is Holdo, right?
Yeah, Holdo, yeah. Vice Admiral Holdo.
I almost thought I was saying Hodor. Hold, because Hodor is hold the door.
Hold the door.
Holdor. But it could just be Holdo. It could be Holdo too. Holdo. Because Game of Thrones. Would that mean that Game of Thrones and Star Wars, since they're both a long time ago, I guess, would be like happening at the same time?
I think there's probably a chance that you could show up at Westeros in a Millennium Falcon. Like they just don't have their planet's screwy. They get a 12-year long winter, there's no time to educate the children on
Well,
science.
you know, Warner Brothers is trying to they're trying to sell this bad boy. So, no, they're trying to buy Paramount. Anyway, Paramount's the one that's trying to get it on whatever. You know, Disney's they're gonna dissolve at some point, and yeah, we're gonna see a Millennium Falcon in Westeros.
God willing, knock on wood.
I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
Who the hell knows, man? I'm so exhausted every day.
Let's just jump ahead. Is this is it Star Wars or Star Trek?
This is there are elements of it that are very Star Trekky, and I mean that from a purely like a production standpoint. This felt very contained in that way that Star Trek episodes sometimes did, where you were like, "Oh, we're on the bridge, and now we're on clearly a backlot set for the rest of the episode." You know, like but it's Star Warsy. They really pumped it to the maximum, the force powers and the lightsabering and everything, and they just went for it, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's definitely Star Wars, but I get what you're saying about the Star Trek, and I would even add the evil twin swapping places with the good twin is very much like a 60s TV trope. I could very much see that on like original Star Trek, so that's not like where that's but yeah, this is this is force foo. That's what like Manny Jacinto called it. This is force foo happening at its peak. This is some good ass stuff we got. Nom 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 nom. Give me more. Who's your big winner for this episode? Nope, can't hear you. Can't hear you. You're muted, friend. I can't hear you. Nope. Oh boy, what happened? Nope. Can you hear me? Yeah, can the audience, can we hear Alex?
There we go.
Hey, all right. Who's
it's probably pretty obvious the big winner is Manny Jacinto. I think that just come on. Like you said, just keeping clear of all the rumors, just really kind of playing it out. And yeah, we kind of knew, but it made the reveal. It didn't take any satisfaction away from the reveal.
Yeah, he really truly crushed this. This was like, yeah, even like when you know what's happening, still like the fact that it was him, he gave us something different with that reveal. Like there were acting choices that made this character fuller. So it wasn't just the reveal, it wasn't just the physical reveal, it was like the emotional reveal. It was the intention reveal. All these other things that came from it that not just like, yeah, maybe we knew it was him, but because it really couldn't really be anybody else unless you're going to be like real goofy and make it like, a de-aged Sheevan Palpatine, but which would have been a real weird move. But yeah, would have been a real move. But this is great. This was really great. Loser, I think we're still kind of punting this for Kevin just because this is like such a long time ago in the galaxy that's so far away. But we're still giving you a pass, I think, on this one.
Yeah, I think that it's Kevin's way of saying like, let him cook. We don't want to confuse things too much right now, but we definitely need to see Sam Wilson's fishing boat at some point before the finale.
I think that'd be great. I mean, I also think too, July 26th is not too far now, and that Deadpool Wolverine, we just said about 10 minutes ago, is going to have everybody in it. And if I walk away from that movie and I'm like, oh, cool, I got to see, that guy who played this character for 2 minutes in a Daredevil movie, like, great. But I would have loved to have seen Sam Wilson's boat. It's going to be really disheartening. And I'm trying to set myself up for that letdown now.
Well, we are still talking about the studio that brought you that helicopter shot with the title card saying now in downtown Boatesville, Louisiana, and we were like clutching at each other in the theater because we thought, and then it wasn't.
Yep. Interior Boatesville, Boatsiana, but nope, no boat. No boat. Well, you know what? This has been a great time talking about the Space Wizard ninjas swinging their flashlight wands. Good. Alex, plug your show again, bro. Come on.
Fringe Tonight Alive, of course, is in the Black Box at the Broadwater Theater tonight at 10:30 p.m. You can get tickets and details at tinyurl.com. / this is not a joke.
Is this
I
real?
wasn't able to put it in the chat because it deleted it. tinyurl.com / 4WU. Wait, Jesus Christ. 4.
Wait, is it tinyurl.com? I'm going to make a banner for it.
Yeah.
tinyurl.com /
tinyurl.com / 4 JWUW 2YT.
All right, let's see. Let me add it to the show. Does that look right?
That's it.
Hey,
that's it. That's where you click there, get the tickets.
Show.
And just for your, another behind the scenes fact, in the, some of the crucial production aspects of the show, is the fact that all matter and energy was once condensed into an infinitely small mass that exploded in what scientists call the Big Bang. So that was kind of the start of everything.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I feel like you could say that about every show, but yeah, that works.
It makes it no less true about mine, Kenny. Thank you.
This is true. All right, I literally have 10 more minutes where I can do this. So that was there. We got to switch over now and get ready to play a game. Is he ready for the game?
I'm ready for the game, baby.
Here we go, which means this is happening. Oh man, we did
hot
it.
Track.
All right.
It's a hot track. Okay,
it is a hot track. What's the game?
We're gonna be playing Dragon Ball C or No, the ultimate Dragon Ball Z episode title quiz game. So I'm gonna read you a title of a Dragon Ball Z episode. Of course, the long-running, very famous anime franchise and manga franchise. These are all from the original seasons of Dragon Ball Z, translated from the Japanese. I'm going to read one to you,
I
and
love
you're going
this.
to tell me if it's real or not.
It's very similar to my game last week. I love every part about this. This is great.
Okay, so the first one. Mini Goku is an overprotected boy. I am Gohan.
You see.
Yeah, that's see. Goku dies. There's only one last chance.
See.
See. Fight. The gravity of the world is yours.
See.
No, that's one I made up.
Okay.
A deep impression. There they are, the next world's awesome dudes.
No.
See, that's a real one.
Really?
Yeah.
The next world's awesome dudes?
Yes. Isn't that the coolest name of anything?
Ever.
I love that.
Ever. That you win the world with that one.
We are the next world's awesome dudes.
Oh my god, incredible.
The next title, is this a real Dragon Ball Z episode? Sex Haver, the Alex Enriquez story.
I'm going to say yes.
No, that's fake. I made that up. For love and justice, enter the great Saya Man. I am Saya Man.
Yes, see.
That's right. Now what, Satan? The greatest pinch in history. Big Trouble, Little Trunks.
No.
That's real. That's a real episode.
What?
Yeah.
Little Trunks? Okay.
Yeah. Is this a real title? Did you ever go over a friend's house to eat and the food just ain't no good? Goku has.
No.
That's not real. That's right.
Yeah.
For those whom he loves, Vegeta perishes. Final atonement.
You see.
That's right. Is this real? I auditioned for Free Willy at 11, and ever since I felt like I peaked. The Alex Enriquez story.
No.
No, that's not real.
You auditioned for Free Willy?
I did. It was a cattle call.
Hey.
Vegeta versus the Final Warrior. A last meal with Saddam Hussein.
No.
That's fake. And then Dragon Ball episode of Bardock.
See.
That's real. And that was, of course, Dragon Ball C. Oh no, the ultimate Dragon Ball episode title game.
That was great. I love that so much. I went to I know some people still who work at Sony, and I went to an event on the lot last night put on by the Anime Fan Collective for Pride Month. It was an LGBTQIA plus anime sampler. We watched a bunch of LGBTQIA plus themed anime, and it was very, very fun. I really enjoyed it. So I'm all about anime. Let's go. You got one more plug for your show, Mike? No, it's Hoopla first. Let's do Hoopla, then we'll do a plug for your show. Hoopla, again, this is where you put in your library card and you get to check out all kinds of stuff, especially comic books. There's a ton, and this is probably the place to go for digital comics is Hoopla. And Alex, what can you recommend for the folks?
I'm still using my reading time to play Star Wars Hunters. So find me on
it.
Star Wars Hunters. Let's play together.
I still haven't. I signed up. I got my name, and I still haven't started dived in too much. But yes, you can find me. My name is Grand Moff Carl.
Mine's Duke_Midnight, MIDNITE.
Grand Moff Carl really made me happy. So I am deep. I'm deep into the High Republic, and I found this link that is basically telling you the definitive way of how you should read the High Republic and the reading order.
Yeah.
And so I was reading some things that I learned were kind of out of order. I'm now back in order. I just finished a YA novel that was quite good. That first introduces the Drengir and also has the Nihil in it. And so now I'm moving on to basically a kid's book. And then I'm at the same time, I'm now reading these comics that I didn't read when I did my first read of the Star Wars High Republic, the Marvel ones. But this is I think this is technically a Marvel run, but it's called the High Republic Adventures, the complete phase 1. And then there's a section in there that I'm going to be reading that is the next section for the High Republic. And the High Republic graphic novels are just spectacular. They're great stuff. Good stuff.
I'll have to check that out. I wasn't able to keep the order right of those. It's because you.
I'll send you
Star Wars Adventures Volume 1, and there's 4 of them.
Yes, I will send you a link to the reading order that I found. It was pretty great. It's pretty great. Now get your final plug-in for your show.
Okay, Fringe tonight alive, of course. Tonight, 10:30 p.m. at the Black Box in the Broadwater Theater. tinyurl.com/4JWUW2YT.
No. I'm gonna save it for you. There you go. We got it right there.
There we go. Click the link for tickets and information.
Don't click the link. It's not an active link, but do type that in.
Don't click it. There. Type it, and don't click it. I don't know how things work. I'm not here. And the third behind the scenes fact about Fringe tonight alive is that Dalton Connect is in fact from Connecticut.
Oh my God, I love that. He's actually from Colorado, but still, yeah. I want to wish that's true.
In his heart.
So much. It's time that we ask what our dogs think. What did your dogs think about Acolytes episode 5?
Well, ever since I told Lupo there was such a thing as a light whip, he's been just kind of is it in this one? I was like, steady.
It's certainly coming. That's what she said. There is a
Kenneth.
I know,
Kenneth pipe. Gerard.
I'm just laying pipe. My dog. I'm trying to remember. She was not in the living room with me. She was over it. So she was over this episode. No, she was. She was in the living room. So she was sleeping in the living room with me. So she's still at a point where she wants to be at least engaged with the content just by location, but not enough to actually be awake to watch it. It's hard for her. She goes to bed at 7:30 and I'm watching it at 10. She just doesn't have the time to put up with that. She's already been asleep for 2.5 hours. She doesn't want to wake up. She's a dog. We did it. Another show in the books. Great show. One of these days we'll actually get under an hour. But we'll get there. Alex, where can the folks find you besides tonight at 10:30 at the Broadwater Theater stages in Hollywood? Fringe tonight live. Where else can the folks find you?
Dr_Alex on Instagram. Dr_Alex is my main Instagram handle. And there's another link in there to tickets to my show. And then just have a good one and be safe out there.
You can find me at Kenny G. Stevenson on Twitch and TikTok, Kenny G. Stevenson, Kenny G. Donut King on Instagram and Threads. You will see me July 19th at the Impro Theater, Friday, July 19th at the Impro Theater at 9:30 p.m. The show, my favorite improv show ever, Processed, is coming back. We have a show July 5th. Go see that too at the Impro. It's July 5th at 8 p.m. I'm not in that. Our cast is, it's only a 7-person show. Our cast is probably more like 10 or 11 people. And it's just the most fun. It is an improvise. We get a bunch of names of fake plays. We pick one and then we do the entire process of a play. We do auditions. We do an improvised table read complete with scripts that are blank pages in our hands that we're all reading from. We do about 2 months into rehearsals for this fake play, and then we take a 10-minute break or a 5-minute break, and we come back, and then we do the final act of this fully improvised play. It's fully improvised. It is so much fun. Unbelievable. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, and Kenny is one of the great improvisers in Los Angeles, so it's always worth it to see him on stage.
I just want to give a big shout out to Anchovies, who just said, 2 geeks talking about sports. Yeah, people really want to see this, nerds. And I just want to say to you, yeah, man, they do. That's why we're here every week. I mean, this is our 69th show. Slam dunk on that one, baby. So
the sex number, you geek. By the way, how much do we actually talk about sport? You know what? We're making this about you now.
Yeah, we talked about sports for one. Let's not make it about him. We don't want to give too much energy. But yeah, we did talk about sports. We've mostly been talking about nerd stuff. So that's the point of the whole show. So thanks for that. Join us here next week, Anchovies. We'll be doing this exact same thing at noon on Friday. We're going to be talking about more Acolyte, hopefully talking about House of the Dragon at some point. We will. And then I would love to talk about The Boys for at least I think next week you should give me like 10 minutes to talk about The Boys, because The Boys has just been absolutely crushing it. It is.
I gotta get there.
This season has been next level awesome, and I wanted to give. So we're gonna do like 10 minutes of The Boys. We're gonna do the Acolyte for sure, and hopefully we can squeeze in some House of the Dragon as well, because that show is also doing things as well. Alex, we did it.
We have always done it.
We have always done it. We always will do it. Always and forever, for eternity, or at least until one of us dies. Bye.